far out in the open ocean, thousands of kilometers from land. In one of the most remote parts of the Pacific, scientists heard a sound that no one could explain. A sound so strange, so powerful, that it traveled across the ocean and was picked up by sensors thousands of kilometers apart. They gave it a simple name, the bloop. The sound was first recorded in 1997 by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, often known as NOAA. At the time, scientists were not looking for monsters. They were listening for earthquakes, underwater volcanoes, and other natural activity beneath the sea. To do this, they used hydrophones, essentially underwater microphones placed deep in the ocean. These instruments were originally developed during the Cold War. Their job had once been to detect submarines, but now they were used to study the deep ocean itself. And one day, while monitoring the Pacific Ocean, the instruments recorded something unusual. A massive underwater sound, low in frequency, rising in pitch over about a minute, and incredibly loud. So loud, in fact, that it was detected by multiple hydrophones spaced more than 5,000 kilometers apart. That kind of distance is extraordinary. For comparison, most underwater sounds fade away long before traveling that far. But the bloop echoed through the ocean like a deep, distant thunder. Scientists traced the signal to a point in the southern Pacific Ocean, roughly west of the southern tip of South America, near coordinates around 50 degrees south. It was one of the most remote regions on Earth, a place where ships rarely travel, and where the ocean plunges thousands of meters deep. At first, no one knew what had caused it. The sound didn't match the typical patterns of underwater earthquakes. It didn't resemble volcanic activity either, and it didn't appear to come from any human source. Not a submarine, not an explosion, not machinery. The mystery quickly grew because the sound had a pattern that resembled something biological, almost like the call of a living creature. But there was a problem with that idea. If the bloop had come from an animal, it would have been far louder than the calls made by any known creature on Earth. Even louder than the mighty blue whale, and blue whales are already famous for producing some of the loudest sounds in the animal kingdom. So the idea raised a chilling question. If a living creature had made the bloop, how big would it have to be? This question captured the public imagination. Theories began to spread across the internet. Some people believed the sound came from a giant squid. Others imagined an unknown deep-sea creature, something enormous, hidden in the unexplored depths of the ocean. After all, scientists often point out something remarkable about our planet. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, which means we still know very little about what may live there. The mystery deepened when people listened to the recording, but there was a catch. The version most people heard online was not the original sound. The real bloop was so low in frequency that humans could not hear it properly. Researchers had to speed the recording up many times. When played this way, the sound almost resembles a strange animal call, a rising, eerie noise that echoes through the water. No wonder the internet exploded with speculation. Some people even connected the bloop to fictional monsters, creatures like Cthulhu. According to those stories, Cthulhu sleeps beneath the ocean, waiting in the darkness of the deep sea. Of course, scientists were far less interested in myths. They kept studying the sound for years, comparing it to other recordings, looking for patterns, and gradually, a different explanation began to emerge. Researchers noticed that the bloop's acoustic pattern was similar to something called an icequake. An icequake happens when massive ice formations crack or break apart, when glaciers fracture, or when huge icebergs split from Antarctic ice shelves. These events release enormous energy, and the vibrations travel through the ocean as sound waves. In fact, some icequakes are powerful enough to be detected thousands of kilometers away, exactly like the bloop. Eventually, scientists from NOAA concluded that the mysterious sound most likely came from a massive iceberg cracking or breaking apart somewhere near Antarctica. A natural event. Dramatic, powerful, but not supernatural. Not a monster, just ice. And yet, even though the mystery was technically solved, the bloop remains famous today because for a brief moment in time, a single sound from the deep ocean made people wonder if something enormous might still be hiding beneath the waves. Something unknown, something ancient, something we had never seen before. The truth may simply be the cracking of Antarctic ice. But the story of the bloop reminds us of something important. The oceans of Earth are vast, dark, and still filled with mysteries. And sometimes, all it takes is one strange sound in the deep to remind us how little we truly know about the world beneath the waves. You've been listening to an audio podcast from History's Mysterious Minds. A story from the past filled with mystery, intrigue, and questions that still echo through time. If you found this episode interesting, thought-provoking, or informative, please take a moment to like this episode, subscribe to the podcast, and share it with others who enjoy mysterious stories from history. Your support helps us continue exploring real events, fascinating people, and the moments that shaped our world. Thank you for listening. This has been History's Mysterious Minds. You've been listening to an audio podcast from History's Mysterious Minds. A story from the past filled with mystery, intrigue, and questions that still echo through time. If you found this episode interesting, thought-provoking, or informative, please take a moment to like this episode, subscribe to the podcast, and share it with others who enjoy mysterious stories from history. Your support helps us continue exploring real events, fascinating people, and the moments that shaped our world. Thank you for listening. This has been History's Mysterious Minds.